Well, it's not working. A new poll conducted by Newsweek shows that her popularity is down 8 points from June. She's underwater in her net approval rating. 33% of people reported their dislike for her. 31% said she was okay to them. I guess the rest don't have an opinion.
January 20th, 2026, LAX airport, middle of the afternoon. According to online reports, Meghan Markle was seen moving through airport security with her usual confidence, sunglasses on, team close behind, and the same VIP energy she's known for. Witnesses claim she looked completely in control, like this was just another routine trip through a familiar space. But observers say something felt different this time. Instead of breezing through, airport security allegedly paused her for additional screening. Not dramatic, not chaotic, just a standard procedure that happens when something unusual appears during routine scans. According to sources familiar with airport screening processes, the bags flagged weren't because of clothing or electronics.
When listing off the products in the paperwork, now she filed that paperwork for as ever in September of last year, just weeks after, we saw the cracks starting to appear when it came to the American Riviera Orchard trademark and name.
Reports claim the scanners showed dense uniform contents inside multiple designer suitcases. Nothing scattered, nothing random, just tightly packed shapes that didn't resemble normal travel items. That alone was enough to trigger a secondary inspection, which is standard protocol. And witnesses say that's when the mood reportedly shifted. The calm confidence allegedly faded, phone calls were made, and her team appeared focused on damage control rather than travel plans.
First, though, as the Duchess of Sussex continues to dominate the news following her bombshell interview this week, we're asking if America is falling out of love with Meghan. It follows headlines like this, which made the front page of the New York Post. Ross King is live in LA. Good morning, Ross. Have you noticed a shift, Ross? What is the public's response to Meghan right now?
What was allegedly found next is what sparked the online storm. Sources claim the suitcases contained large amounts of cash, tightly bundled with no personal belongings mixed in. Not shopping money, not casual travel funds, but an amount significant enough to raise procedural questions under international travel regulations. To be clear, these are unverified reports and no official confirmation has been released. However, people familiar with customs procedures explain that transporting large sums of money across borders usually requires specific declarations and documentation.
It reflects on you as the mother. Because fine, they're kids, they're running around. Fine, I get that. But you're putting them on social media. Comb the hair, change the diaper, change the clothes. No. And it started bothering me. So I reached out to some people because I've been listening and hearing to some rumbles online.
According to the same reports, there was confusion around the purpose and destination of the funds. Not accusations, not conclusions, just unanswered questions that allegedly slowed the process and drew attention from multiple security layers. Some online commentators claim this wasn't described as a one-time anomaly. They allege a pattern of similar travel setups, though again, no authority has publicly confirmed this, and no official statements have been issued. Footage is also rumored to exist, captured by internal security cameras. If real, analysts say such footage would only show procedure, not wrongdoing, but its existence alone has fueled speculation across social media platforms.
It's possible that they just really want a private existence for their kids. And while I've always thought that Meghan potentially was not actually pregnant, I had initially believed that the child was real. He was just born of a surrogate. That's as far as my mind would extend towards conspiracy.
What matters most here is this. No charges, no official findings, no public confirmation have been announced. Everything surrounding this situation remains allegation, discussion, and interpretation, not established fact. Still, the story continues to circulate because of how unusual the claims sound. And as long as there's silence from official channels, the conversation online isn't slowing down anytime soon. When large amounts of cash cross international borders, the rules are very clear. Travelers are required to document where the money came from, where it's going, and what it's meant for. These aren't optional guidelines. They're standard reporting requirements meant to prevent financial irregularities. According to sources speaking in online discussions, Meghan Markle allegedly struggled to give clear answers to those basic questions. Reports claim there was uncertainty around the origin of the cash, the intended purpose, and why physical currency was used instead of traceable methods like wire transfers or checks. Multiple explanations were allegedly offered by her team. Some claims included business-related expenses, payments for services, or even personal funds connected to property investments. But analysts familiar with corporate finance point out a major issue here. Those explanations don't align with how legitimate transactions usually happen. Large-scale business payments and real estate deals almost always move through banks with contracts, receipts, and paper trails, not suitcases filled with physical bills. And then there's the timing, which online commentators keep circling back to. This situation allegedly unfolded shortly after a high-profile trip to Nigeria involving Meghan and Prince Harry. That visit was publicly framed as a charitable appearance connected to the Invictus Games. On the surface, nothing unusual, except for how the travel itself reportedly happened.
The chill at Balmoral when Prince Harry arrived after her death, even without Meghan Markle. Let me take you through some of the key extracts from this part of the book. Paul Burrell writes, after her own diagnosis just a few months later, the Queen swore everyone to secrecy.
According to airline statements at the time, the couple didn't fly commercially. Reports say they used private jets provided by airline executive Alan Anima, a figure who has since been linked in media coverage to serious legal allegations in the United States. Public records cited by journalists indicate that Anima is allegedly wanted by U.S. federal authorities for accusations involving financial layering through American banks. These are documented allegations tied to him personally, not to Meghan or Harry. Still, online critics point out the optics. Accepting free private international flights from someone later associated with federal charges has raised questions, even if there was no awareness of those allegations at the time.
We don't know if a meeting is definitely going to take place. We do know the Duke of Sussex is very keen to see his father. I think the key issue is that if any details of this meeting, should it go ahead, are leaked to the media, that could compromise a reconciliation, because what I'm told is that the heart of all of this is the matter of...
Supporters argue the couple may not have known anything about his legal issues. Skeptics respond that public figures of their level typically conduct background checks before accepting high-value services. Here's where commentators say the dots start to connect, at least in theory. One situation involves alleged movement of funds through banking systems abroad, while the other involves reported cash transport through an international airport. To be absolutely clear, there is no claim that Meghan Markle participated in or knew of any illegal scheme.
You know, worth it. Remember?
I'm a real mom.
But you know what it got me thinking about? Meghan and Harry's travel safe obsession. Now, of course, we should all travel safe. That's a relatively normal thing to say, no big deal.
Observers stress that similarity in patterns does not equal proof, and correlation is not confirmation. But the discussion continues because of how unusual these circumstances appear when viewed together. Different methods, similar questions, and a timeline that keeps people talking online. And until official statements or verified findings are released, this remains speculation, commentary, and public debate, nothing more. What people need to understand is this. When timing and associations line up in unusual ways, those are the kinds of things federal investigators pay attention to. It doesn't mean guilt, but it absolutely means questions get asked. Analysts point out that when someone is publicly linked, even indirectly, to individuals facing allegations of financial misconduct, and then later becomes involved in a situation raising financial reporting concerns, authorities don't just brush that off. They look closer every time. Now let's talk about the alleged airport security footage, because this is where the discussion really heats up. If such footage exists and ever becomes public, experts say it would be difficult to reinterpret or reframe. Modern airports are covered wall to wall with security cameras. Every checkpoint, every screening lane, every customs station is recorded continuously for legal and safety reasons. According to sources who claim familiarity with airport procedures, the footage allegedly shows the entire interaction from start to finish.
He's truthful about a lot of the things he says in Spare about this. Well, we want that story to die, so we're going to give you this story. However, he does it today. Him and Meghan do the same thing today. I've seen that Meghan and Harry tried to discredit certain media outlets because they don't like what they're going to say.
From Meghan Markle approaching the checkpoint, to the luggage going through scanners, to her being asked to step aside for additional screening. Reports claim the footage captures the moment the suitcases were opened, the reactions that followed, and the confusion that allegedly set in afterward. Phone calls, explanations, and attempts to clarify the situation, all happening in real time under official supervision. Here's why this matters so much. Unlike paparazzi images or online clips, official security footage isn't opinion-based. It's government-recorded documentation inside a controlled federal facility.
It was given to me and I got it in the car and then returned it straight away.
Once the scandal broke?
As soon as I knew it was a scandal, not once it broke, Michael. But don't try and trick me now because I'm not going to play this game. Delete that bit. John, can you just delete it, please, that bit? Because I don't want to go down.
If what sources claim is accurate, the footage would also include audio. That means direct questions from security personnel, responses given or not given, and the moment it became clear that required documentation was allegedly missing. According to online commentary, copies of this material were reportedly shared across multiple agencies as part of routine procedure. That can include TSA, Customs and Border Protection, and financial oversight departments, depending on what thresholds were triggered. Some commentators even speculate that financial crime units may review such cases when large cash movements raise compliance questions. Again, review does not mean accusation. It means verification. Here's the part many people misunderstand. It is not illegal to possess money, and it is not illegal to travel with cash. What is required is proper declaration and documentation when amounts exceed specific limits, especially during international travel. Federal rules require travelers carrying more than a set threshold to file forms explaining the source and intended use of the funds. These rules exist for a reason. Cash is difficult to trace, and once it crosses borders without documentation, oversight becomes extremely challenging. That's why investigators pay attention when high-value individuals with access to banks, wire transfers, and formal financial systems allegedly choose physical cash instead. It raises questions about why that method was necessary. Experts stress that legitimate business, investment, and personal transactions almost always leave paper trails. They don't require suitcases filled with untraceable bills. And that's why this story keeps circulating. Not because of confirmed wrongdoing, but because the choices, timing, and method don't match what's normally expected.
A whole lot of eyebrow-raising tales. So when Meghan found a way there, it's hardly surprising that she felt right at home. Soho House isn't just a club, it's a scene, a network, a place where Hollywood hopefuls rub shoulders with high society heavyweights, all while being surrounded by decor that's a little provocative.
Think about it for a second. If money needs to be moved for legitimate business reasons, there are countless professional options available. Accountants, lawyers, financial advisors, all designed to handle payments cleanly through banks, wires, and documented systems. If something needs to be paid, credit cards work, wire transfers work, checks work. All of these leave proper records and protect everyone involved. That's why financial analysts say the use of large amounts of physical cash immediately raises questions. Cash removes the paper trail, and that's the exact reason regulators treat it differently. Here's where online discussions say things become far more serious. Multiple sources claim this situation was not isolated. Reports suggest that on previous international trips, Meghan Markle was allegedly flagged for secondary screenings as well. Not always cash, sometimes high-value items, sometimes packing patterns that security systems are trained to notice. Airport security doesn't rely on memory or discretion. Every secondary screening is documented. Every unusual item is logged. Every explanation given, or not given, becomes part of a record. According to commentators familiar with aviation security, these records don't disappear. Over time, repeated incidents can form a pattern, especially when tied to frequent international travel. Individually, one screening might mean nothing. Together, repeated flags can trigger broader reviews by other agencies. That's when a situation can reportedly move beyond routine customs checks.
Meghan claimed a while back, she made a really big deal of it, I think it was in the Netflix, that Archie, when he was like barely 2 years old, was telling everyone to travel safe when saying goodbye. He was like, travel safe, travel safe, travel safe. She said this and she was like, he's not even 2 and he's always saying it and it's so cute. That's what she claimed and she made a big deal.
Information may be shared with Homeland Security, financial oversight divisions, and other federal departments, not as accusations, but as compliance reviews. Sources close to Meghan's professional circle claim this moment allegedly triggered serious internal concern. Not standard PR cleanup, but legal-level urgency. According to those reports, her team is said to have consulted attorneys experienced in customs compliance and financial reporting issues. Not general media lawyers, specialists who understand federal review processes. Observers say that choice alone signals how high the stakes felt internally. You don't bring in that level of legal expertise unless the situation is being treated as serious. There are also claims that attempts were made to resolve the matter quietly, seeking administrative solutions before public attention or formal escalation. But here's the reality analysts point out. Once documentation exists across multiple agencies, containing it becomes extremely difficult. Too many records, too many departments, too many people with access. If footage or reports were ever released, control over the narrative would vanish instantly. And that's why commentators believe multiple response strategies were allegedly prepared. One version for public clarification, one version if authorities issued statements, and one version if nothing surfaced at all.
Lord and behold, we see Meghan Markle promoting her wine, her sparkling wine, or whatever it is that she wanted to promote it. She seems to have a lot of it left over because nobody's buying it. She's giving it away at parties. And we're going to talk specifically about the Emma Griddett party because there was drama there.
To be clear, no charges have been announced and no official findings have been released. Everything discussed remains speculation, analysis, and public commentary. However, experts note that violations involving undeclared cash can carry serious consequences under federal law. Penalties vary widely depending on intent, amounts, and findings, and not every case leads to prosecution. What keeps this story alive is not confirmed wrongdoing, but the pattern, the method, and the risk involved. And until official information is released, that's where the conversation stays. So here's the real question everyone keeps asking. Will Meghan Markle actually face the harshest possible penalties people are talking about? Most legal analysts say probably not, unless investigators found proof of intentional participation in serious criminal activity. In many federal cases, especially first-time situations, outcomes can be far less severe. Cooperation, explanations, and compliance corrections often matter more than online outrage.
Feel as if the media treats women unfairly.
You don't really have an opinion. And I think it's quite fun to keep coming back with an opinion. Is that the rebel in me?
I think that might be the rebel.
But here's the part that changes everything. Even a minor federal conviction would be devastating for her public image. A lifestyle figure who speaks about values and integrity suddenly linked to federal financial violations? That's brand poison. Industry analysts say no major company wants that association. Streaming platforms, sponsors, and partners move fast when reputational risk appears. And that brings us to Netflix. Observers already note that her projects haven't delivered the momentum she needed, and any legal trouble would only accelerate pullbacks. Then there's Prince Harry. Commentators point out that legal complications involving a spouse can create immigration questions, even if indirectly. Nothing automatic, but enough to add pressure behind the scenes. What's especially interesting is how Meghan has responded publicly, or more accurately, how she hasn't. No statements, no legal denials, no aggressive PR campaigns calling this misinformation. And that silence is loud. When public figures face false claims, they usually fight back immediately. Press releases, legal threats, public rebuttals, we've seen it many times before. But here, nothing. That leaves commentators with two possibilities. Either the situation is serious enough that responding would create more problems, or her team is waiting to see if it fades quietly.
Good morning, Ross. Have you noticed a shift, Ross? What is the public's response to Meghan right now?
Yeah, good morning, Christine. Yeah, I definitely have noticed a shift out here. And I think a lot of that has to do with the timing of all the things that we've been hearing. A lot of the news programs and the entertainment shows here were all about
Penmanship on the logo is similar to Meghan Markle's. It's the same law firm handling the legal trademark work, in a long list of products that she's trying to include, whether it be the yoga mats or the dog bowls or whatever, it's similar.
Some analysts believe silence can be strategic when official records exist. Denying something that later gets confirmed only makes the fallout worse, and the timing couldn't be worse. Meghan is in the middle of trying to rebuild relevance, re-establish momentum, and prove long-term market value. Instead of positive headlines, this story dominates the conversation. Questions, speculation, and talk of investigations are not what brands want anywhere near them. If any formal action ever occurred, experts say partners would distance themselves instantly. No waiting, no loyalty, just exits. And then there's the royal angle. Critics argue this would reinforce long-standing skepticism from figures like King Charles III and Prince William. Doubts about judgment and trust that go back years. Still, none of this proves wrongdoing. It proves uncertainty. And here's the balanced take. Maybe this was a misunderstanding. Maybe poor decisions that looked bad but weren't criminal. Maybe explanations exist that haven't been shared yet. But people keep talking because the patterns, the timing, and the silence don't line up cleanly. If everything were fake, many believe the response would be loud and immediate. Instead, it's quiet. And that's why attention keeps growing. So now everyone waits. Wait to see if any footage ever surfaces. Wait to see if authorities close the matter quietly or not. Because right now, the future narrative depends on decisions happening far away from social media, inside offices, behind closed doors. And that uncertainty? That's the real story. If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think this situation gets resolved quietly, or is there more still coming? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.